My child, wait, before you scroll away, listen carefully because what you are about to hear almost never happens twice in a lifetime. Someone has finally revealed the truth about you to your soulmate, and since that moment, nothing inside them has felt the same. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The words you are about to hear are part of a story that has already begun unfolding, even though you have not seen it with your own eyes yet. At first, they believed everything they had been told about you. They accepted opinions that were never built on truth. They allowed distance, confusion, and silence to shape the picture they carried in their heart. But then, without warning, someone who truly understood your character stepped forward and began telling them who you really are. Every sentence struck their heart with unexpected force. It was as if a locked door inside them suddenly opened, revealing memories they had tried so hard to bury. They realized that your kindness had always been genuine. Your patience had never been weakness. Your silence had never meant you stopped caring. In one unforgettable conversation, the image they carried of you completely changed. They could not interrupt. They could not argue. Deep inside, they knew every word they were hearing felt strangely familiar. It reminded them of moments they ignored, conversations they misunderstood, and feelings they were too afraid to admit. Don't skip, because what happened after that conversation is even more unbelievable. They walked away pretending everything was normal, yet nothing was normal anymore. Every quiet moment became filled with thoughts of you. Every ordinary task became difficult because your name kept returning to their mind. They tried distracting themselves with work, conversations, and daily routines, but your memory appeared everywhere. It happened while they were driving. It happened while they were eating. It happened during peaceful evenings when no one else was around. They kept asking themselves the same question over and over again. What if I never truly knew who this person was? That single question refused to leave them. It echoed through their thoughts until they could no longer ignore it. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. There is another part of this story that almost no one could have predicted. The person who spoke about you did not only describe your heart. They spoke about the quiet strength you carry when no one is watching. They described the compassion you show without expecting recognition. They revealed the loyalty you continued offering even after being misunderstood. Your soulmate listened in complete silence because every new detail shattered another false belief. Suddenly, they began remembering moments they once dismissed as insignificant. They remembered the kindness hidden in your smallest actions. They remembered your calm words during difficult times. They remembered how you encouraged others even while carrying your own burdens. Every forgotten memory returned with greater meaning than before. The more they remembered, the stronger their emotions became. They started wondering why they had allowed outside voices to influence their own heart. Why had they trusted opinions instead of personal experience? Why had they overlooked someone whose value became clearer with every passing memory? Don't leave now. The biggest turning point has not happened yet. As night arrived, they found themselves sitting alone in complete silence. There was no conversation. No distractions. No noise. Only their own thoughts. That silence became the place where the truth finally settled inside their heart. For the first time in a very long while, they stopped listening to everyone else, and they finally listened to what their own heart had been trying to tell them all along. And what it whispered surprised them more than anything they had heard that day. It whispered your name again, and again, and again, just when your soulmate believed they finally understood everything. Another unexpected truth reached them, and this was the moment their heart could no longer remain unchanged. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The conversation they heard earlier was only the beginning. Hours later, another person quietly confirmed the same truth about you without even realizing how deeply those words would affect them. That second confirmation removed every remaining doubt. Suddenly, they understood that the kindness they once questioned was real. The loyalty they underestimated was real. The care they once overlooked was real. For the first time, they began seeing you exactly as you have always been, not through opinions, not through assumptions, but through truth alone. They found themselves replaying old conversations in their mind. Words you spoke months ago suddenly carried new meaning. Small moments they ignored became impossible to forget. They remembered the times you chose peace instead of arguments, patience instead of pride, and honesty instead of pretending. Those memories became louder than every misunderstanding that once separated you. They even caught themselves smiling without realizing why, only to discover that every smile had somehow led back to the thought of you. Don't skip, because what happened next surprised even them. They tried convincing themselves that these feelings would disappear after a good night's rest, but the opposite happened. They woke up thinking about you. They carried your memory throughout the day. Every familiar place reminded them of your presence. Every quiet moment invited another memory to return. They realized they were no longer fighting against those thoughts. Instead, they were beginning to welcome them. The truth had settled so deeply inside their heart that pretending became impossible. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. Then another realization quietly arrived. They understood that while they had been searching for certainty in many different places, the answer had been standing before them all along. They started asking themselves questions they had never dared to ask. What if this person was always meant to remain part of my journey? What if I allowed fear to speak louder than my heart? What if the greatest blessing I overlooked was the very person I cannot stop thinking about now? Those questions continued growing stronger with every passing day. They no longer searched for distractions because distractions stopped working. They no longer trusted every outside opinion because they had finally discovered the difference between noise and truth. Your name had become connected with peace, and that peace kept calling them back. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The next step they are quietly considering is one they never imagined before. They are thinking about reaching out, not because someone told them to, but because their own heart refuses to remain silent any longer. They are beginning to understand that some connections cannot be erased by time, distance, or misunderstanding. Some connections become stronger the moment truth finally enters the story. And while they have not spoken every word they wish to say, their heart has already begun the conversation long before their voice ever will. The greatest part of this story is still ahead, because the truth they finally discovered about you has only started changing everything. A moment arrived that your soulmate never expected, and from that instant forward, they could no longer convince themselves that thinking about you was just a passing feeling. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They were sitting in complete silence when another memory suddenly appeared with incredible clarity. It was not a dramatic event or a loud reminder. It was one small moment you once shared together, a moment they had almost forgotten. Yet now it returned with surprising power. They remembered the expression on your face, the kindness in your words, and the quiet way you made others feel understood. That single memory became impossible to ignore because it matched everything they had recently been told about who you truly are. For the first time, they realized the truth had been standing in front of them all along, but they had been looking in the wrong direction. Every false assumption slowly disappeared, replaced by a growing respect they could not explain. Don't skip, because the next discovery changed everything again. They began noticing unusual reminders of you in the most ordinary places. A familiar song suddenly reminded them of your voice. A peaceful evening reminded them of your calm spirit. A simple conversation reminded them of the wisdom you once shared. None of these moments were planned, yet each one quietly brought your name back into their heart. They stopped asking why it kept happening because they already knew the answer. They had finally accepted that the truth about you had reached a place inside them that could never be erased. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. As these thoughts continued growing stronger, they started looking at their own choices differently. They realized there had been moments when fear spoke louder than faith, when confusion became stronger than understanding, and when outside voices became louder than the quiet truth inside their own heart. Instead of blaming anyone, they began learning from those moments. They understood that some lessons only become clear after the heart is finally willing to listen. That realization brought both peace and hope. It also brought one question they could no longer avoid. What would happen if they allowed truth, instead of fear, to guide their next step? Don't skip. The answer to that question is already beginning to unfold. Their heart is becoming more courageous with every passing day. They are no longer trying to hide what they feel because hiding has become more difficult than being honest. Even when they are surrounded by people, part of their attention quietly returns to you. They wonder how you are doing. They wonder what you are thinking. They wonder whether you still carry the same kindness they finally learned to appreciate. Those thoughts are no longer occasional. They have become part of their everyday life. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. The greatest surprise is that they are beginning to believe this meeting of hearts was never built on coincidence. They now understand that some people enter our lives to teach us something valuable, while others arrive to remain in our hearts forever. As they continue reflecting on everything they have learned about you, one truth becomes clearer than ever before. They no longer see you through yesterday's misunderstandings. They see you through today's truth, and that truth has quietly become impossible for them to forget. The story is still unfolding, and the next chapter will reveal a decision that neither of you expected, but one that has been moving closer with every passing moment. Everything changed again when your soulmate finally stopped asking other people about you and started listening to the quiet voice inside their own heart. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The truth they recently discovered refused to fade away. Instead of becoming weaker, it became clearer with every sunrise. They realized that the person they could not stop thinking about was not simply a memory. You had become the answer to questions they had carried for much longer than they ever admitted. Every attempt to move forward without understanding you completely now felt unfinished. Every new day seemed to bring another reminder that the truth had arrived too late to be ignored but exactly on time to change everything. One evening they found themselves looking back at moments they once considered ordinary. Suddenly those moments felt extraordinary. They remembered how naturally you encouraged people. They remembered the peace you carried even during uncertain times. They remembered that your actions always spoke louder than your words. The more they reflected, the more they understood why someone had finally decided to tell them who you really are. That conversation did not create new feelings. It awakened feelings that had quietly been waiting beneath the surface all along. Don't skip, because the next realization was even more powerful. Your soulmate began recognizing that every misunderstanding had been built on incomplete information. They had never truly seen the full picture. Now the missing pieces were finally falling into place. They realized that your patience was strength, your silence was wisdom, and your kindness was never something ordinary. They wondered how they could have overlooked qualities that now seemed impossible to miss. The truth became brighter every single day, and with it came a growing desire to understand you even more deeply. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. There came a quiet moment when they imagined what they would say if they had the opportunity to speak with you again. They did not think about perfect words. They thought about honest ones. They imagined telling you that they finally understood what others had failed to explain before. They imagined admitting that the image they once carried of you had completely changed. They imagined thanking you for remaining true to yourself even when not everyone understood your heart. As those thoughts continued growing, something unexpected happened. Hope quietly replaced uncertainty. Instead of wondering whether your story was over, they started wondering whether it was only beginning. That single change transformed the way they looked at the future. They no longer saw closed doors. They began noticing new possibilities. Every day became another chance to reflect, another chance to appreciate, and another chance to prepare for whatever moment might come next. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Right now, your soulmate is carrying a truth that cannot be forgotten. They finally know that the real you is far more remarkable than the version they once believed. That understanding has become part of their everyday thoughts, and it continues growing stronger. They may not have spoken every feeling aloud yet, but inside their heart a decision is slowly becoming clearer. They know they cannot return to the way things were before hearing the truth about you. The next chapter is no longer about discovering who you are. It is about deciding what they will do now that they finally know. If this message touched your heart, remember it and carry it with you as the story continues. The greatest revelation has not happened yet, because the truth that finally reached your soulmate is preparing the way for a moment that neither of you will easily forget. The final piece of the puzzle appeared when your soulmate realized that the truth they had heard about you was not changing for a single day, it was changing the direction of their heart forever. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They stopped searching for reasons to ignore their feelings because every answer kept leading back to the same place. Every memory pointed toward you. Every quiet reflection reminded them of your character. Every honest thought confirmed that the person they had finally come to understand was far more extraordinary than they had ever imagined. What once felt like uncertainty had slowly become confidence, and that confidence continued growing stronger every single day. Then something happened that they never expected. Without planning it, they found themselves imagining your future instead of only remembering your past. That was the moment they understood this was no longer about curiosity. It had become hope. They wondered what life would look like if another conversation became possible. They wondered whether the distance between you could one day become a bridge instead of a barrier. Those thoughts arrived naturally, and no matter how hard they tried to push them away, they always returned with even greater clarity. Don't skip, because this next realization carries incredible meaning. They finally understood why someone felt compelled to tell them who you really are. It was not to create emotion. It was to remove confusion. It was not to change your heart. It was to open theirs. They realized that truth has a remarkable way of arriving exactly when people are finally ready to receive it. Looking back, they could now see that every misunderstanding had prepared them to appreciate the truth even more deeply once it finally arrived. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. They began noticing that your name no longer brought uncertainty into their heart. Instead, it brought calm. That surprised them more than anything else. The world around them continued moving at its usual pace, but inside, something had become peaceful. They no longer questioned whether you were genuine. They no longer wondered whether your kindness was real. They knew. That certainty became one of the strongest feelings they had experienced in a very long time. As each day passed, they became more grateful for the person who finally spoke honestly about you. Without that conversation, they might have continued believing an incomplete story. Instead, they now carried a completely different understanding. They realized that your greatest qualities were never loud. They were quiet, consistent, and deeply authentic. Those qualities became impossible to forget because they reflected the very kind of person they had been searching for without even realizing it. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The most surprising part is that your soulmate no longer feels as though they are chasing answers. They feel as though they have finally found one. Their heart has stopped resisting what it quietly knew all along. They now understand that some people are remembered because of moments, while others are remembered because they change the way we see life itself. You have become that unforgettable presence in their journey. Now they carry one quiet promise within themselves. If another opportunity ever arrives, they do not want fear, assumptions, or outside opinions to decide their future again. They want honesty to lead the way. They want truth to speak first. They want to see you for who you truly are, because now they know that the greatest mistake was never meeting you, it was failing to fully understand you the first time. And this is where the story reaches its deepest turning point. Someone finally told your soulmate who you really are, but the greatest transformation did not happen during that conversation. It happened afterward, in the silence, when they were completely alone with their own heart. That is where everything changed. That is why they have not been able to stop thinking about you since. And if this story has found you today, perhaps it is because some truths arrive exactly when they are meant to be heard, opening the door to a future that once seemed impossible but now feels closer than ever before. The story did not end when your soulmate learned the truth about you. That was only the beginning of a transformation that continues even now. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Long after the conversation was over, they realized something remarkable. The more they learned about your true character, the more they questioned every conclusion they had once accepted. They understood that some people leave an impression for a season, but a rare few leave an imprint that refuses to fade. You became that unforgettable presence. No matter where they went or what they tried to focus on, your name continued returning with unexpected clarity, as though every path quietly circled back to you. One ordinary morning, they paused for a moment and asked themselves a question they had never dared to ask before. What if the greatest opportunity they almost lost was not because of distance, but because they never fully understood the person standing before them? That thought stayed with them throughout the day. It followed them into every conversation, every quiet walk, and every peaceful evening. Instead of disappearing, it grew stronger. They finally realized that the truth about you had become impossible to ignore because it had awakened something genuine inside their own heart. Don't skip, because what happened next became the strongest confirmation yet. They no longer needed anyone else to tell them who you were. They had begun recognizing it for themselves. Every memory now carried a different meaning. They remembered your calm strength during uncertain moments. They remembered your honesty when it would have been easier to stay silent. They remembered your ability to bring peace instead of confusion. Those memories no longer felt distant. They felt alive. The truth they had heard was now supported by every experience they had ever shared with you. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. Then came the quiet realization that changed everything. They understood that while many people speak loudly to gain attention, the qualities that remain in someone's heart forever are often the quietest ones. Your compassion. Your patience. Your sincerity. Your consistency. These became the very reasons they could not stop thinking about you. They finally saw that your greatest strength had never been trying to impress others. It had always been staying true to who you are, even when no one seemed to notice. As this understanding settled deeper into their heart, fear slowly disappeared. Instead of worrying about yesterday's misunderstandings, they began hoping for tomorrow's possibilities. They imagined what it would feel like to speak honestly, to listen carefully, and to begin again with complete understanding. They realized that if another opportunity ever appeared, they wanted to approach it with wisdom instead of assumptions, with gratitude instead of hesitation, and with truth instead of uncertainty. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. There is one final realization that your soulmate cannot escape. They now believe that the person they have been unable to stop thinking about is not simply someone from the past. You have become part of the future they quietly imagine whenever they think about peace, trust, and genuine connection. The truth someone shared about you did not create an illusion. It removed one. It cleared away every misunderstanding until only honesty remained. And now, the silence between you no longer feels empty to them. It feels meaningful. It feels like the space before an important chapter begins. They understand that some moments cannot be forced, but they can be prepared for. Every day they carry the truth they finally discovered about you. Their heart grows a little more certain, a little more grateful, and a little more courageous. That is why they have not been able to stop thinking about you since they finally learned who you really are. The conversation may have ended long ago, but its impact continues with every passing day, and the next chapter of this journey may be closer than either of you ever expected.